His accuser says she is 100% certain he assaulted her in high school, but the Supreme Court nominee says he never committed such a crime. We will look forward to a vote happening later today.
And a former Madison nurse is facing 19 felony charges connected with abused babies in the NICU.
This is News 3 This Morning.
Good morning and welcome to News 3 This Morning. It is almost 6:01 now on this Friday, September 28th. And I know we don't want to talk about, dare I say it, winter, but we are seeing some first signs of cooler weather.
Yeah, we have temperatures dropping to around the freezing point.
Yeah.
But the good news is the mosquitoes will likely
I was just about to say, we're focused, we're like laser focused on the fact that the insects will hopefully be gone.
Like, hopefully after tonight you'll be able to go outside again and not get chewed alive. So that is the good news. But there is an alert day in the forecast for Saturday morning. That's tomorrow morning. Frost is likely across southern Wisconsin. We have a freeze possible north of the Dells. So if you have any sensitive plants that you want to save, you're going to have to protect them tonight. Here's a look at our current temperatures. We're dropping a little bit this morning. We're down to 53 here in Madison, 52 in Lone Rock, 49 in the Dells. Thanks to some clouds, though, in the area, temperatures are actually a little bit warmer than they were yesterday. Here's a look at our temperatures over the next 12 hours. We'll climb to highs only around 57 today with a west-northwest wind. So that nice warm southerly wind yesterday is being replaced by a northerly wind today. Your first alert traffic update this morning, getting a peek at the roads here in Madison. No major delays showing up on the Beltline or in the downtown areas. Still a little early for volume issues just yet. We have no accidents report either, so you're still going at posted speeds heading into Madison. And that's your first alert traffic.
You ladies are right. I need to be more excited about this frost because that means on my camping trip, I'm going to wake up cold, but no blood-sucking vampires bugging me.
Hopefully, yes. True.
All right, I'll take it. Thanks, Addie.
You're welcome.
We start this hour on Capitol Hill, where the Senate Judiciary Committee will vote later today on Judge Brett Kavanaugh's Supreme Court nomination.
The committee will take that preliminary vote just one day after members heard 8 hours of testimony from both Kavanaugh and Christine Blasey Ford. Ford stood by her allegations that Kavanaugh had sexually assaulted her back in high school. Kavanaugh strongly denied them, at times tearing up or even interrupting lawmakers. If every Democrat votes against Kavanaugh, the GOP can only afford to lose 1 vote.
The decision to vote today has not been affected by the American Bar Association's request to delay that confirmation process until the FBI can conduct a full background check. Judge Kavanaugh cited the ABA clearances and background checks as evidence he never sexually assaulted anyone. That organization now says the Senate Judiciary Committee should wait out of respect for the due process under the law, adding an FBI investigation would demonstrate the Supreme Court's commitment to follow the law over political motivations. If the committee approves Kavanaugh's nomination today, he could be confirmed as soon as next week.
President Trump is still standing behind his pick. He tweeted his full support for Kavanaugh, calling his testimony powerful and riveting, saying Judge Kavanaugh showed America exactly why I nominated him. Wisconsin's candidates for governor are also weighing in. Tony Evers tweeted his support for Ford, saying her testimony showed courage and bravery. Governor Walker took a more reserved tone. He issued a statement through a spokesperson saying he thinks this is a serious issue and it should be treated as such by the U.S. Senate.
The Rape Crisis Center here in Madison says the hearings on Capitol Hill are leading to an increase in calls to their helpline. Erin Thornley Parisi, who runs the center, says despite who you side with in this case, survivors of sexual assault are more likely to open up about the topic when it's talked about on such a public level. She says the best thing we can do is support those individuals and believe them. Thornley Parisi says survivors may also be deterred from reporting to police after watching some of this. Attorney General Brad Schimmel voiced similar concerns for victims of sexual abuse. If you do need someone to talk to, you can call the Rape Crisis Center hotline at the number on your screen there. That's 251-7273.
A former nurse accused of intentionally hurting newborns is out on a $9,500 signature bond this morning for the 19 child abuse charges he faces. Christopher Capham is accused of abusing babies in the NICU at Meritor Hospital. He was in Dane County Court for the first time yesterday. He's scheduled to be back for a conference status in a couple of weeks. Now, the alleged abuse spans nearly a year, including injuries like bruising, a broken bone, and a skull fracture to 9 different babies in the unit. Capham was ordered to stay away from those alleged victims, their families, and Meritor Hospital. Our colleague Keely Arthur caught up with him and his lawyer as they left the court, but neither commented on that case. Meriter Hospital released a statement in response to the criminal charges, saying in part, "We have supported the legal process throughout this investigation. There is no doubt that as an organization, we all remain devastated by what happened."
6:05 right now, and a new study shows while young people worry about their parents having enough money saved in their retirement funds, they don't have a good sense of how much to save for their own futures. That survey found 69% of teenagers in the U.S. admit they know little or nothing about financial planning. 1/3 of teens thought they would need less than $5,000 saved to retire, and they plan on saving starting at age 29. Now, nearly all students surveyed said a personal finance course would be valuable to them. Imagine that. Wisconsin law now requires school districts to have a financial literacy curriculum in place for its students.
All right, farmers running the area's pumpkin patches, apple orchards, and corn mazes are well into the busiest time of their year, but they're still dealing with the aftermath of last season's weather.
Yeah, that historic rain and flooding we saw this summer did not just affect the crops we eat. It drowned out some of the crops we pick, carve, and walk through in the fall. Christina Laurie is over at Schuster's Farm in Deerfield, that is. The owner there says this is the worst he has seen in 25 years. Christina, good morning.
Good morning, Danica and Leah. I thought, Danica, you had a little nickname for Deerfield there, but Don Schuster has been out here in Deerfield for the past 25 years now, and this year he's hoping for a better season than last, that's for sure. Last year's 2017 season, it rained for most of it. Really, so this year, he says, as long as the sun is out on weekends in particular, he expects business to be better. Last month's rain initially drenched his pumpkins and corn stalks, but that has since, for the most part, dried up. Still, there are some lasting effects. Corn stalks here should be green right now, but the heavy rain caused them to become more spindly and easily able to be knocked over. The problems Schuster is seeing on his farm aren't unique to him, though.
The world right now, the Midwest, is full of mold and fungus. All the corn, every bean field, every crop field has got some type of disease in it, and there's not a whole heck of a lot anybody can do about it.
Another problem this year, mosquitoes, but as you know, that's nothing unique to the Schuster's farm. The bugs are bad everywhere, multiplying tenfold as a result of last month's rain. Last weekend was Schuster's farm's first. He said he welcomed big crowds, and he's expecting even more this weekend because there's a big celebration in the works. This weekend, this Saturday night at 8 o'clock, there's a big 25th anniversary fireworks display out here, and the Haunted Forest is going to stay open for an additional 2 hours. So if you're looking for something to do, mark your calendars.
Christina, you'll have to tell Don about this frost. I'm sure he's already aware that could maybe help with that mosquito issue, at least part of the problem.
Fingers
here.
crossed.
Hopefully, they're actually really calm out here this morning. We haven't got bitten yet.
They know what they're doing out there. Christina Laurie reporting live from Deerfield this morning. Thank you, Christina.
6:08 your time now. The cast for the newest animated movie out in theaters is pretty impressive. A late-night TV show host, a famous actor, the greatest basketball player of our time, and a Grammy Award-winning rapper, all voice characters in Smallfoot. Unfortunately, they didn't give Will a call.
Aw.
What? But that means he can be here this morning with a preview.
Before that, Hattie is tracking some rain possibilities in your first alert forecast this weekend, but she says there won't be any washouts. That's good news if you're heading out to Schuster's or anywhere else. We will get an update from her coming up on News 3 this morning.
Good morning from the Hattie-O patio. This morning we're starting off a little milder than we were yesterday. But speaking of mild, take a look at the high temperatures across the area yesterday. 66 here in Madison, 70 in Janesville though, and Mineral Point, even 71 in Prairie du Chien. Hope you had a chance to enjoy those warmer temperatures because it is going to be significantly cooler today. And we're definitely talking cooler temperatures overnight tonight. Have issued an alert day in the forecast for Saturday morning due to the potential for some widespread frost. This will be the first widespread frost of the season. Freezing conditions are possible north of the Dells, and that's where we have freeze warnings overnight tonight. That is for Juneau, Adams, and Marquette counties for the early morning hours on Saturday. For the rest of the area, we're all under a frost advisory, so you want to protect those sensitive plants if you want to save them. Future track temperatures forecast lows in the mid-30s in many spots. Again, to the north, hard freeze is possible. Doppler track will show you what's happening right now, and we are looking at just a few sprinkles from time to time across southern Wisconsin. A cold front has moved through the area. Not seeing a whole lot of precipitation though here across the Badger State. Of note on the radar map though is the snow that is being reported across parts of Wyoming and Montana this morning. So we're definitely transitioning into a more fall-like weather pattern. Satellite and radar trends show you that even though we're not seeing a lot of precipitation here, we definitely have the cloud cover this morning. Those clouds are going to stick around. North of the area, temps are in the 30s. Bismarck's at 32. International Falls is at 39 degrees this morning. Des Moines checks in with 51. It's 57 in St. Louis. In between here in southern Wisconsin, we have 40s and 50s. 49 in the Dells, but 53 here in Madison. Temperatures may drop just a little bit yet into the 40s in most spots. While there is an outside chance for a few sprinkles or a light shower this morning, most of the precipitation will stay south of the state line. A lot of clouds though through the day, with temperatures only climbing back into the middle 50s. Now skies are expected to clear tonight, so that's setting us up for a quick cool down. If you're headed to a Friday night football game, game time at the start, or temperature at the start, will be around 50 degrees, dropping back into the mid 40s though by the time the game comes to an end. Here's a look at your extended forecast. We have sunshine in the forecast on Saturday with a high of 56, and then rain is back in the forecast starting Saturday night into Sunday, and then lasting into the first part of next week. And now with your first alert traffic this morning, here's Jason Ryan. And maybe Jason's not here this morning, so let's take a look at those traffic maps. We're not seeing any issues on the Beltline early this morning. Clear going in both directions today. Dane County roads are problem-free as well. No accidents or issues to report on the interstate. Downtown, just a few slowdowns. East Wilson from MLK Boulevard to South Pinckney Street is running a little bit behind. But right now, drive times are looking normal as you head into the city. And that's your first alert traffic.
This weekend in theaters, Channing Tatum, LeBron James, and Danny DeVito all play a clan of Yetis who don't believe in the existence of humans.
Yeah, sure, because that makes sense. The movie is Smallfoot, and here with a preview is our film critic, Will Loper. Good morning.
Good morning.
Interesting.
Very interesting. And hey, if Channing Tatum as a Yeti isn't enough to get you to the movies, I don't know what will. Ryan Gosling as the Beast of Bray Road. ScarJo as the Chupacabra. Well, anyway, take a look at this film.
We have searched the entire mountain trying to find one. And that day has finally arrived.
Smallfoot. Oh my gosh! It's a Smallfoot! Where did it go?
Reach into your memory.
It got whisked away on the wind over the cloud.
Which way? Up, sideways?
Down!
Down, of course!
After spotting a human, a Yeti travels to bring him back to his village to prove they really exist.
Hi, I'm... No. I'm taking you home.
Smallfoot is rated PG.
We're gonna be safe here, nice and warm. So warm. Wait a minute, how's that? Nice and toasty all the way around. Oh, hey, what's wrong? You hungry? I found your food.
So they passed on giving the Channing Tatum Yeti like a six-pack.
Yeah, why isn't he ripped? It's under the fur.
It's
clearly.
under the fur.
Yeah.
Then maybe Danica and I would have
That's what I
gone.
always say too. Six-packs under the fur.
It's a great excuse, great line.
I mean,
Yeah.
the cast is spectacular.
Yeah. I mean, Danny DeVito, James Corden voices the human.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
So
LeBron James
LeBron
in this?
James, Zendaya. So they spared no expense when it came to voices.
I don't want to be looking at snow this early, though.
I
I'll
know
wait a couple
it's
months.
coming, and yeah.
Yeah, it's just preparing you. Pretty good
Exactly.
reviews,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, it's at 75% on Rotten Tomatoes, so it's great for the little kids. It's a
you go.
no-brainer to take the kids too. So there you go.
Why not?
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Will.
Thank you.
We'll see you on Monday.
See you Monday.
6:17 right now. One of the biggest community centers here in Madison is getting even bigger this weekend. We'll tell you about the addition to the Goodman Community Center and when you can check it out.
Should be a pretty nice weekend to get out. Check that out. Maybe do anything on your list, but you might need an extra sweatshirt or jacket handy. Hattie's going to let you know what the kids need to wear before heading out to the bus stop when News 3 This Morning returns.
Good morning, I'm meteorologist Hattie McLean. Clouds in the area this morning, so we're not able to see a whole lot on that Skycam shot from the station. Here it is pointing to the east, but still so dark at this hour. Here's a look at satellite and radar trends. We had a few sprinkles in the backyard weather patio, but not a whole lot of precipitation falling from these clouds. While there is an outside chance for a sprinkle or a light shower, most areas will stay dry this morning. Temperatures are in the 40s and 50s early today. Your bus-stop weather forecast calls for highs only in the middle 50s, so not a big warm-up expected even through the afternoon. We do have an alert day in the forecast for early Saturday morning. That's tomorrow morning. Temperatures will get pretty close to the freezing point overnight tonight, so frost is likely. Have a wonderful day.
Hattie, thank you so much. 6:22 right now. President Obama's former senior advisor will be in Madison tonight for this year's Idea Fest. David Axelrod will talk about the state of politics at the Memorial Union starting at 7:15. It's one of about 30 events featuring more than 60 speakers over the course of 2 days. This is all put on by the Cap Times, covering topics like the impact of the show Hamilton on Broadway, paying college athletes, Foxconn here in Wisconsin, and children's books. Those talks, social gatherings, and other events happen at various venues all throughout the city. You can still purchase your $30 ticket online and then pick them up over at the Union box office. You can find more information and a detailed schedule at captimesideafest.com. There will soon be more space for things like yoga classes and art showcases at the Goodman Community Center here in Madison. The new Brassworks building across the street from Goodman will provide an additional 30,000 square feet to host its education and enrichment programs. This project has been in the works since that metal foundry went up for sale in 2014. There will be a grand opening event tomorrow afternoon. It starts at 1 p.m. There will be a mural dedication and activities including Tai Chi classes, a positive affirmation booth for girls, and a photography showcase.
Today is Good Neighbor Day, and our area Good Neighbor City, Middleton, is turning its title into action. Police there are launching the Good Neighbor Challenge. All you have to do is take a minute to help someone out. Maybe rake leaves for your neighbor or help them out and take out the garbage. Then share your act of kindness with the hashtag #SeeTheGood. This Good Neighbor Day might mean just a little more to that city this year. First responders there were praised for their quick action last week during a workplace shooting on Deming Way. And another national day we can all get behind here on the morning show at least. Tomorrow is National Coffee Day.
Whoop, whoop.
There are a handful of shops in town offering some deals to celebrate our addiction to caffeine. Danica and I will be hitting up all of them. Dunkin' Donuts is one of them. They've got a buy one, get one deal on hot coffee going all day. Einstein Brothers will give you a free cup with any food purchase. Find a list of all of those deals over on channel3000.com.
So I am hoping the rain holds out for me and all of you coming out for this weekend's Zoo Run Run. The 13th annual event takes place Sunday morning, helping the Henry Vilas Zoo remain free for everyone. The zoo has also been raising money for its newest addition, 2-year-old polar bear Nanique. Just moved into the Arctic Passage exhibit. This year's runners can sign up to be predators or prey. Badgers will try to catch as many gophers as they can during the run, and gophers will try to stay away for those badgers. There will be a Roo Run for kiddos as well. You can choose either a full mile or half-mile run for that. Then an hour and a half east, the Milwaukee Zoo is welcoming its first red panda cub. Her name? Dr. Lily Parkinson. It's actually after the veterinarian who first found out that Mama Bear was pregnant. She's almost 5 months old now and is finally out roaming with her parents. Red pandas are found in the mountains of Nepal, northern Myanmar, and central China. They're considered to be endangered with less than 2,500 adults left in the wild.
We have that exhibit here in Madison. One of my favorites, behind the giraffes.
Oh, see, I love those polar bears. I'm 100% behind the Arctic Passage. So hopefully y'all can come out and support the zoo.
Yeah, you'll be there hosting.
Yes, I will.
All right, 6:25 your time now. Dane County plans to invest hundreds of thousands of dollars to bring mental health treatment to the people who need it most.
And UW researchers are part of a really interesting study that could have national park goers paying more attention to how long they're running their cars or RV generators. The news is back in the morning on News 3 this morning.
Community and school board members are changing their minds about taking officers out of schools after an East Side shooting.
And caramel apples, apple cider donuts, and of course, pumpkins. You know what that means. It's fall festival season here at Schuster's Farm. We're going to take a look at how the recent record rainfall is affecting business this year.
This is News 3 This Morning.
Good morning and welcome to the final half hour of News 3 This Morning. It is 6:29 now on this Friday, September 28th. It might be a great couple of days to get out to Schuster's, but if you're picking up a pumpkin, any flowers, might want to bring them inside.
Most definitely. Hattie is looking ahead over to a freeze warning and frost advisory for overnight for parts of our area. Hattie, how's it feeling out there so far this morning?
It's actually not that bad outside this morning. It's a little bit warmer than it was yesterday at this time even, thanks to some clouds in the area. Take a look, though. We have an alert day in the forecast, for tomorrow morning. This is the forecast low temperature for southern Wisconsin. You can see that from the Dells and points northward, temperatures do drop below the freezing point, so a freeze is possible up there. If you have sensitive plants left in your landscape or in your garden that you want to protect, you'll have to cover them or bring them inside tonight. Frost advisory in effect for most of southern Wisconsin, but for Juneau, Adams, and Marquette counties, that is a freeze warning for early tomorrow morning. Here's a look at satellite and radar combined. A lot of clouds with just a few sprinkles on and off at times here in southern Wisconsin. A cold front has moved through the area. Temperatures are still dropping, though, down to 48 now in the Dells, 49 in Prairie du Chien, 53 here in Madison, and 55 in Janesville. We are going to stick with a lot of clouds. The risk for rain confined to just the morning hours today. It will be a bit breezy at times. I don't know if you can hear those winds kicking up behind me here in the patio, but it is a little breezy outside. Skies will clear late today, which sets us up for a cold night tonight. Now, so far, things have been pretty quiet on the roads here in Madison, and it looks like that trend continues right now. We're not seeing any major backups or accidents, just a little slower than normal through the construction zone on Verona Road as you head northbound to the Beltline. And that's your first alert traffic.
Hattie, thank you so much. Madison school board members and members of the community say police officers should stay in the city's high schools. That recommendation came just a day after a teenager was shot close to La Follette High School, putting that building and Senate Middle School on lockdown. An ad hoc committee spent more than a year reviewing the Educational Resource Officer program. Some parents had complained that officers in the hallways negatively affect students of color. Now, that committee is now unanimously recommending that the district continue to keep officers in the city's 4 high schools. The full school board is expected to consider that at its meeting on October 8th.
Leaders in Dane County say next year's budget will include the single largest increase in mental health resources we've ever seen. Executive Joe Parisi announced a $320,000 expansion of the Emergency Mobile Mental Crisis Program. The 2019 budget will also include more funding to fight the opioid epidemic. Through August of this year, there were more than 200 heroin overdoses in the city of Madison. That's compared to 142 for all of 2017. That full budget should be introduced on Monday. Just around the corner already is October. It's a month that consumer protection experts like to remind us about cybersecurity. DACAP is encouraging all of us to take steps toward protecting our personal information and our money. That department will offer a cyber safety tip every weekday through the month of October with a different theme every week. You'll be able to find those tips on Twitter and Facebook starting on Monday.
There's an interesting study out of the UW that suggests national parks could be more vulnerable to climate change than the rest of the country. Wisconsin's Center for Climate Research, along with UC Berkeley, looked at all of the 417 national parks across the country and found average temperatures in the parks increased at twice the rate over the past century compared to the other land. Obviously, we're seeing the wrong video here, but yearly rainfall in those areas has decreased as well. Researchers found the park's locations and ecosystems tend to be most impacted by climate change. The study also found, though, that adhering to the Paris Agreement would keep the potential temperature increases in those parks to a third of what it would be without regulations on emissions. President Trump has removed the United States from that agreement.
All right, 6:33 your time now. The worst he's seen in 25 years. That's how the owner of Schuster's is describing some of the damage he's still dealing with after the summer storms.
Water coming from places he has never seen it come from before, but the hope is that things are drying out and continue to for crowds during these valuable fall weekends. Christina Lori's live in Deerfield this morning. morning with what they are expecting this season. Good morning, Christina.
Good morning, Leah and Danica. Don Schuster has been running this farm for 25 years now, and he says that as long as the sun is still shining, on weekends in particular, he expects business to boom. He says that right now the Midwest is full of mold and fungus. Every bean field, every cornfield has some type of disease in it, and while that doesn't hurt anybody, it can hurt the corn and durability of the stalks in his corn maze. Those stalks should be green right now, but because of the rain, they've become easier to be knocked over in a yellowish color. That's why it's especially important this year to stay on the path through the maze and not take any shortcuts.
Well, staying on the path is critical because this corn is, all the corn around here is going to be so fragile between now and October 31st. Cutting through the path is going to cause major damage, and once it's knocked over, it's done. Then we're sitting out there with yellow tape, putting tape up and putting fence up and trying to keep the mazes, as much of the maze as possible.
If you're planning on coming out to Schuster's this weekend, you're in for a special treat. The farm is marking 25 years with a special professional fireworks display that starts at 8 o'clock tomorrow night. Parking could get a little messy out here, though, because of the rain last month. If October is as rainy as that was, things could get a little bit messy in the parking lot. You might want to leave a little extra time to get out here, but we didn't have any problems, and there's going to be a whole lot of fun. Maybe you guys want to check out those fireworks tomorrow evening, Leah and Danica?
You know, Christina, I love corn mazes, but I am guilty of what Don was talking about. I get lost for upwards of an hour. I start to cut through. Won't do it this year, though, right?
Please don't, Leah.
All right, our Christina Laurie reporting live for us. Thanks, Christina.
6:35 right now. Parents from across the state will be in Madison today, brainstorming ways families can be more involved in their child's education. Representatives from 19 school districts are meeting at the Department of Public Instruction as part of the superintendent's Parent Advisory Council. They'll also be talking about connecting teachers to high-quality instructional materials and closing the achievement gap.
There is a Madison area school in the running for a $25,000 prize, and you have until Sunday night to help with your vote. Nuestro Mundo is currently in 8th place in Unity Point's Imagine the Amazing contest. There are schools in Wisconsin, Illinois, and Iowa all in the running for that money, which will be used to improve some sort of wellness effort in those classrooms. So far, there are more than 24,000 votes for Nuestro Mundo. It's the only school in our area that's in the top 15, which would mean a $1,000 prize. There's no limit on the number of times you can vote. We're going to have a link on where you can do that over on channel3000.com.
Come on, these are going up against Iowa, Nebraska schools. Let's just get a Wisconsin school in there, one from our area.
The fact that we're in the top 15, that's pretty impressive.
Yep, most definitely.
Start voting. Vote early, vote often.
There you go.
All right, almost 37 your time now. The big story on Capitol Hill today, the vote senators are planning to move forward with. We'll tell you what's next in the process for the president's Supreme Court nominee in the morning sprint.
And I am personally not a hunter, but I did download the new app the DNR is offering this fall. I have to say, it's pretty cool. We will share how it could help you on your next quest for a buck or a pheasant when News 3 This Morning continues. Welcome back. We always ask you to share your morning with us, and because it's been on and off cloudy, you know, seeing speckles of the sun here and there, Linda sent this one. She just said this is of the lake. She posted it on Facebook. I'm thinking it's Koshkonong because I think this came from the era when Adam was calling for all of those pictures. He loves Lake Koshkonong. So Linda, thank you so much for sharing. Beautiful shots.
I can see why he loves Lake Koshkonong if it looks like that. What does your morning look like? Take a picture, post it on our Facebook page or maybe on Twitter using that hashtag MyNews3Morning. We share our favorites every morning right here on the program. We are now heading into the final week of our Coats for Kids campaign. Thanks to everyone who has already donated. We are up to 2,425 coats so far. If you haven't yet, please check your closets for any coats, hats, or gloves you never wear or you might have outgrown. You can drop them off at any Klinky Cleaners or Lucier Family YMCA. They're going to go to kids and adults who need help staying warm this winter.
So you will soon notice some changes when you are booking a camping trip at Wisconsin State Parks.
A little late for my trip to Door County this weekend. Dang it. But starting on December 17th, reservations are going to be a little bit cheaper too. The DNR is switching systems, which is going to lower the booking fee by $2 down to $7.75. The department says the change is also going to provide a mobile-friendly platform for booking campsites, shelters, and amphitheaters. The new system, Camus USA, is also planning to open a call center in Kenosha.
The DNR is also making this year's hunting season a little more high-tech with an app called Hunt Wild Wisconsin. That free application allows hunters to tailor maps by saving favorite locations and walk-in routes. It also provides up-to-the-moment shooting hours, summaries of hunting regulations, ways to buy new licenses, tags, and permits, and an online harvest registration process.
All right, the bad news for you folks out in the woods this weekend and the rest of us, we keep losing a few minutes of sunlight every single day. Soon we're not going to even be able to see the sunrise during the show. The good news, though, is this cooler weather might finally kill off those mosquitoes that have been so brutal this summer. We keep talking about this because this is the only silver lining, right? Hattie is looking ahead to a very fall-like weekend after the break.
First, though, it is September 28th. We want to say happy birthday to Jacob, Sylvia, and all the kiddos turning 3 today. Thank you so much for letting us help celebrate here on News 3 this morning.
Good morning. Your first alert weather forecast for today is a chilly one. Definitely feeling like fall tonight. If you're headed out to a game for Friday Night Football, kickoff temperature 50 degrees. That's the coldest game so far, I think. 46 by the fourth quarter, so you want some extra layers today. Skies will be clear and winds will be light. We have an alert day in the forecast, in fact, for those chilly temperatures expected tonight. Overnight lows from the Dells points northward are going to drop into the lower 30s, some below the freezing point. So freezing conditions possible up there. Protect sensitive plants all across southern Wisconsin, though, with those temperatures dipping into the mid-30s. A frost advisory is in effect for early tomorrow morning for most of our viewing area. Again, north of the Dells, where it's going to be a little bit colder, Juneau and Adams and Marquette counties, it's a freeze warning for early tomorrow. Now, here's a look at the overnight lows for the next 5 days or so. Tonight, again, we're in that frost likely category, but after that, temperatures climb back into the 40s and even low 50s overnight. So if you want to save some sensitive plants, you just really have to protect them tonight. Look at your fall color report. It is the weekend, and if you want to get out and see some of those fall colors, not a lot happening here across southern Wisconsin. As you go towards the Mississippi River Valley, you may see a bit more color, but otherwise you'll have to head to the Northwoods. The northern part of the state exhibiting some pretty good color right now. Most spots at least 50% color. Satellite and radar trends showing you that we do have a lot of clouds throughout the state this morning. Not a lot in the way of rain around here. We've had a few sprinkles from time to time, but check out the radar map further to the west, where the radar is painting some blue on the map, indicating the potential for snow falling there this morning. Temperatures are in the 30s to the north, 50s to around 60 to the south. In between, we're right around 53 here in Madison, 47 though in the Dells, and 45 in Camp Douglas. Winds are from the north. That nice southerly wind yesterday is gone. It's replaced by a northerly wind today. That's going to keep a chill in the air. We'll have a lot of clouds today with a high of just 54 in New Glarus. Fort Atkinson and Watertown, you'll top at 56 degrees. To the west, mid-50s are in the forecast. 53 in Prairie du Chien, 53 in Mineral Point, and 56 in Dodgeville. And to the north, we'll look for temperatures right around 52 in Mauston, as well as Baraboo. Here in Madison, our forecast high temp today only in the mid-50s as well, 57 degrees. Just an isolated threat for a sprinkle or a light shower this morning. Keep in mind those cold conditions tomorrow morning. That's why the alert day is in the forecast. We'll start with some sunshine, but end with more chances for rain heading through the second part of the weekend.
Oh.
Look at Diesel and Sun Prairie.
That's sweet.
He's channeling my inner feelings right
Bothered by any forecast, I don't think.
Yeah, he doesn't mind missing that pet walk.
I will say today's a good nap day. With those clouds around.
That's where you'll find me. All right, thanks, Addie.
You're welcome.
Morning Sprint's coming up next right here on News 3 This Morning. 6:52 time now for the morning sprint. Hattie says we could see our first frost overnight.
And Christina Laurie tells us how the heavy rains this summer are affecting local corn mazes this fall. But we start on Capitol Hill. That's where lawmakers will vote today on whether Judge Brett Kavanaugh should take a seat on the Supreme Court. During yesterday's 8 hours of testimony, Christine Blasey Ford stood by her allegations that Kavanaugh had sexually assaulted her. Kavanaugh strongly denied them. If every Democrat votes against Kavanaugh, the GOP can only afford to lose one vote.
Dane County's Rape Crisis Center says calls to its hotline have increased since the accusations became public and hearings began on Capitol Hill. Erin Thornley Parisi, who runs the center, says while survivors may be more willing to talk about what they went through right now, they might still be deterred from going to police. If you need to talk with someone, you can call the Rape Crisis Center hotline at 608-251-7273.
A former nurse accused of intentionally hurting newborns is out on a $9,500 signature bond this morning. Christopher Capham is facing 19 child abuse charges. He's accused of abusing at least 9 babies in the NICU at Meritor Hospital. The alleged abuse spans nearly a year. Injuries range from bruises to a broken bone and even a skull fracture.
A committee is now unanimously recommending police officers stay in Madison's 4 high schools. That decision came just a day after a teenager was shot close to La Follette High School, putting that building and Senate Middle School on lockdown. That committee spent more than a year reviewing the Educational Resource Officer program after some parents said it negatively affects students of color. The full board is expected to consider the program at its meeting on October 8th.
And an alert day is in the forecast for tomorrow morning due to the potential for frost and even freezing conditions across parts of southern Wisconsin. That happens tonight. But today we'll have cloudy skies and cool conditions. A west-northwesterly wind keeping a chill in the air today. We're looking at a high of just 57 degrees this afternoon.
Thank you very much, Hattie. A new study shows a third of teenagers across the United States think they need less than $5,000 saved to retire and plan to start saving at age 29. Nearly all students surveyed agreed that a personal finance course would be valuable to them. Wisconsin law requires school districts to have a financial literacy curriculum in place for its students.
A first alert traffic note over in Rock County this morning. A stretch of Colley Road underneath the interstate outside Beloit is closed for the next couple of months. Crews there are working on new supports for the I-39 bridge over that road. That construction should last into early December.
Schuster's Farm here in Deerfield is ready for its busiest time of year. Despite recent record rainfall, it was actually last year, not this one, that was toughest for business. Don Schuster has owned this farm for 25 years now with his wife and says people still turn out as long as the sun is still shining. The weekend, of course, is the busiest time, so if you're heading out over the next 2 days, it's important you stay on the plowed path while working your way through the corn maze. The corn is especially dry and fragile this year, and once it's knocked over, it is done. You'll also want to be careful where you park. The parking field may get a little bit muddy.
Thank you, Christina. A Stoughton company has made it to the final 4 of the Coolest Thing Made in Wisconsin contest. CC Moo LLC makes adjustable clothing for children who need feeding tubes. Those outfits are up against a sea salt caramel pecan kringle from De Pere, a Wi-Fi connected generator made in Waukesha, and a bulldozer produced in Milwaukee. You can vote once a day through midnight Sunday at madeinwis.com.
There's a Madison area school in the running for a $25,000 prize, and you have until Sunday night to help with your vote. Nuestro Mundo is currently in 8th place in Unity Point's Imagine the Amazing contest. There are schools in Wisconsin, Illinois, and Iowa all in the running for that money, which will be used to improve some sort of wellness effort in those classrooms. We'll have a link to where you can vote over on channel3000.com.
20 Bucky statues will have new homes tomorrow night following the Bucky on Parade finale party. Tickets, unfortunately, already sold out for that event, but there are still 10 Buckys up for auction online. You can bid at buckyonparade.com. Proceeds will go to the Madison Area Sports Commission and Wisconsin basketball coach Greg Gard's Family Foundation, Guarding Against Cancer.
6:56 right now. Let's turn it over to Jason Ryan with a look at your first alert traffic. Good morning, Jason.
Good morning. The Beltline is still looking good for the commute. No accidents or issues anywhere to slow you down. Downtown has a few hang-ups on the Capitol Square. West Mifflin turning on to Carroll starting to fill up with traffic. South Fairchild busy as well, and South Blair going on to East Wash. Your drive times are normal for this time of the day. Traffic for the most part moving right along for a Friday. With First Alert Traffic, I'm Jason Ryan.
Thanks, Jason.
Thank you.
And it is a cloudy start this morning. We have temperatures in the 40s and 50s across southern Wisconsin. Not a lot of sunshine in our forecast for today either. Take a look at your day planner temperatures. We'll climb to a high 57 this afternoon. Clearing and pretty chilly conditions then expected overnight tonight. Keep in mind an alert day tomorrow morning for frosty conditions.
Grab a jacket on your way out of the office today. Have a good weekend. We'll see you Monday.
Making plans that are weather dependent? Get an accurate 12-hour, even a 10-day forecast. Download the Channel 3000 First Alert Weather app and start planning.